Hi guys! The latest developments in ABC's General Hospital have left viewers on the edge of their seats as a devastating family secret threatens to unravel the very fabric of Port Charles. As Marco Rios remains captive under Sonny Corinthos' orders, his father Jen Sidwell appears surprisingly calm about the situation. However, what emerges next will shake the foundations of multiple families and expose a truth that has been buried for over 2 decades. The kidnapping that started it all. The current crisis began when Sonny decided to take drastic action against Sidwell following the fire at Charlie's pub that nearly killed his daughter Christina. In a calculated move of retaliation, Sonny ordered the kidnapping of Marco, believing that taking Sidwell's son would serve as the perfect leverage in their escalating mob war. Jason Morgan, ever loyal to Sonny, has been tasked with keeping Marco secured in an undisclosed location while Sonny makes his demands known. What makes this situation particularly intense is that Marco saved Christina's life during the fire, making him an unlikely victim in this dangerous game of revenge. Lucas Jones and Carly Spencer have been desperately searching for Marco, with Lucas immediately suspecting Sonny's involvement. The young lawyer's disappearance has created a ripple effect throughout Port Charles, affecting not only his romantic relationship with Lucas but also threatening to expose secrets that have remained hidden for decades. Sidwell's unexpected calm. While any parent would be expected to panic upon learning their child has been kidnapped by a dangerous mob boss, Sidwell's reaction has been notably different. His unusual composure in the face of such a crisis suggests that he knows something others don't. This mysterious confidence becomes clearer when Sidwell makes an unexpected visit to Carly Spencer, setting the stage for one of the most shocking revelations in General Hospital history. Sidwell's lack of concern about Marco's safety stems from his knowledge of a secret that could completely change the dynamics of the current conflict. Rather than pleading desperately for his son's release or mounting a violent rescue mission, Sidwell chooses to approach Carly with information that will transform her understanding of her own family. The life-changing revelation. In a moment that will forever alter the landscape of Port Charles, Sidwell reveals to Carly that Marco was actually her son. This stunning disclosure comes with an even more shocking twist. Carly gave birth to twins years ago, but was unconscious during the delivery and never knew about the second child. The twin she raised and loved was Morgan Corinthos, who tragically died in 2016. The twin she never knew existed was Marco, who has been living his entire life believing Sidwell was his father. This revelation explains so much about the current situation. Sidwell's confidence in Marco's safety stems from his knowledge that Sonny would never harm his own stepson, even unknowingly. The elaborate deception that kept this secret hidden for over 2 decades represents one of the most complex and emotionally devastating plots in recent General Hospital history. The hidden history. The backstory of how this deception was orchestrated reveals the depths of Sidwell's long-term planning against Sonny. Years ago, when Carly was giving birth to what everyone believed was a single child, she was drugged and unconscious during the delivery. Taking advantage of her vulnerable state, Sidwell arranged for the birth records to be falsified, ensuring that only one child, Morgan, would be recorded as born to Carly and Sonny. The second twin, Marco, was secretly taken and raised by Sidwell and his associates. This wasn't just a kidnapping, it was a calculated long-term strategy designed to give Sidwell leverage over Sonny's family for decades to come. By raising Marco as his own son, Sidwell created the perfect weapon, someone who could get close to the Corinthos family without arousing suspicion. Someone who could be used to destroy Sonny from within. The emotional impact on Carly. For Carly Spencer, learning that Marco is her son represents both a devastating betrayal and an unexpected gift. The realization that she has been grieving the loss of Morgan while unknowingly interacting with his twin brother creates a complex emotional landscape. The guilt of not knowing, combined with the joy of discovering she has another living son, will undoubtedly drive her actions in the coming episodes. Carly's maternal instincts, already heightened by the danger Marco faces, will now be amplified by the knowledge that Sonny is holding her own flesh and blood captive. The urgency of the situation becomes even more critical as she realizes that time is running out to save her son from a man who has no idea he's threatening his own family. The race against time. With this life-changing information, Carly faces an impossible choice. She must rush to Sonny and reveal the truth before any irreversible harm comes to Marco. However, the revelation that Marco is actually her son will not only shock Sonny but also completely change the dynamics of his conflict with Sidwell. The timing of this revelation is crucial. Sonny has been making increasingly aggressive demands of Sidwell, threatening Marco's safety if his terms aren't met. Carly's desperate race to reach Sonny before he follows through on his threats adds an element of urgency that will keep viewers captivated. The ripple effects. The revelation of Marco's true identity will have far-reaching consequences for multiple families in Port Charles. Lucas Jones, who has been developing romantic feelings for Marco, will have to grapple with the fact that his love interest is actually the son of his sister Carly. The complex family dynamics that define General Hospital will be forever altered by this revelation. For Sonny, learning that he has been holding his stepson captive will create an internal crisis that goes beyond simple guilt. The realization that his war with Sidwell has put his own family in danger will force him to reevaluate his approach to the conflict. The protective instincts that drive all of Sonny's actions will be redirected toward ensuring Marco's safety and integrating him into the family he never knew he belonged to. Sidwell's master plan exposed. The revelation of Marco's true parentage also exposes the full scope of Sidwell's long-term strategy against Sonny. By raising Marco as his own son while keeping his true identity secret, Sidwell created a situation where he could manipulate both families for decades. The emotional manipulation involved in this deception represents a level of psychological warfare that goes beyond typical mob conflicts. Sidwell's willingness to use an innocent child as a weapon in his war against Sonny reveals the depths of his hatred and the lengths he's willing to go to achieve his goals. This revelation will likely turn Marco against the man he believed was his father, creating new alliances and conflicts that will drive future storylines. The future of Port Charles. As this shocking truth comes to light, the future of Port Charles hangs in the balance. The revelation that Marco is Carly's son will not only end the current kidnapping crisis but also set the stage for new conflicts and reconciliations. The family dynamics that have driven General Hospital for decades will be fundamentally altered by this discovery. The emotional reunion between Carly and her long-lost son, combined with the integration of Marco into the Corinthos family, will provide rich material for future storylines. However, the trauma of decades of separation and deception will also create new challenges that the family must overcome together. Next, we will dive deep into the swirling emotional storm surrounding Jordan Ashford as she navigates a tangled web of romance, duty, and hidden desires in Port Charles. In the bustling corridors of Port Charles, Jordan Ashford finds herself at a crossroads, her emotions pulling her in conflicting directions. Once deeply committed to her role as a dedicated law enforcement officer, Jordan has recently put the brakes on her emerging relationship with the charismatic Dr. Isaiah Gannon. This decision stems from her intense focus on a clandestine operation targeting the notorious arms dealer Jen Sidwell, whose shadowy dealings threaten the safety of the entire town. By sidelining her budding romance, Jordan aimed to maintain her sharp professional edge, but this choice has unexpectedly reopened old wounds from her past marriage. Her ex-husband, Curtis Ashford, has re-entered her thoughts in a profound way, especially as whispers of their shared history echo through their secretive meetings. Adding a layer of complexity, Jordan's best friend and the steadfast police commissioner and Devane has drawn Isaiah into her own investigative pursuits, creating a potential powder keg of jealousy and regret. As Jordan grapples with these feelings, viewers are left wondering if her heart truly belongs to the man she once vowed to love forever or the doctor who offered a fresh start. Delving deeper into Jordan's internal conflict, it's clear that her hesitation with Isaiah wasn't just about the mission. It's intertwined with a resurgence of affection for Curtis. Their marriage ended amid heartbreak and misunderstandings, but recent events have reignited a spark that's impossible to ignore. Curtis, now facing the disintegration of his union with Dr. Portia Robinson due to a vicious blackmail scheme involving family secrets and hidden affairs, has turned to Jordan for support. Their late-night strategy sessions, filled with lingering glances and unspoken tensions, have become the talk of the town, with friends like Stella Henry subtly noting the chemistry. Jordan, ever the professional, tries to compartmentalize these emotions, but the pull is undeniable. Imagine the added strain when she learns of Anna's plan to use Isaiah as a decoy in her probe into Professor Henry Hank Dalton's groundbreaking yet suspicious tech project, which rumor has it involves advanced surveillance tools that could upend Port Charles' power dynamics. Dalton, a brilliant mind with a mysterious past tied to international espionage, represents a threat that Anna can't ignore. And enlisting Isaiah, a skilled surgeon with his own undercover experience from past storyline, seems like a perfect fit. Yet, this alliance places Isaiah in Anna's orbit, where their shared intellect and high-stakes collaboration could foster an unexpected bond. As Anna and Isaiah team up, the potential for romantic sparks looms large, threatening to ignite Jordan's dormant jealousy. Picture them huddled in dimly lit safe houses, poring over encrypted files on Dalton's inventions, which allegedly include AI-driven devices capable of predicting criminal activities, a double-edged sword that could either safeguard the city or invade personal privacies. Their partnership might involve elaborate covers, such as posing as a couple at elite tech conferences or infiltrating Dalton's inner circle through fabricated social events. Isaiah, with his easy charm and quick wit, could easily engage in playful banter with Anna, whose own history of loss and resilience makes her a compelling match. If Jordan witnesses these moments, perhaps during a chance encounter at the Metro Court or through surveillance footage from her Sidwell operation, her composure might crack. Her uncertainty about Curtis adds fuel to the fire. Curtis's marriage was exacerbated by Portia's desperate attempts to salvage their family for the sake of their daughter Trina Robinson. Create an opening for Jordan. Trina, already navigating her own romantic entanglements and identity crises, could be devastated if Jordan's rekindled feelings disrupt the fragile family unit she's clinging to. Will Jordan suppress her envy, focusing instead on dismantling Sidwell's empire, which involves smuggling rare artifacts laced with dangerous tech, or will it bubble over, forcing her to confront her divided heart? The ripple effects of this jealousy could extend far beyond Jordan's personal life, potentially fracturing her cherished friendship with Anna. These two women have bonded over years of shared battles against villains like Peter August and Cyrus Renaud, building a trust that's been a cornerstone of Port Charles law enforcement. However, if Jordan perceives a genuine romantic shift between Anna and Isaiah, perhaps marked by stolen moments of vulnerability, like Anna confiding in Isaiah about her lingering grief over her daughter Robin, Scorpio Drake tensions could escalate. Jordan might interpret this as a betrayal, especially since she confided in Anna about her pause with Isaiah. Inventing a new twist, suppose Anna, sensing the chemistry, encourages Isaiah to explore it as part of their cover, leading to fabricated dates that blur into real affection. This scenario would test Jordan's resolve. Does she intervene, risking exposure of her own mission against Sidwell, whose network includes corrupt officials and high-tech mercenaries? Or does she remain silent, allowing her indecision to fester? Meanwhile, Curtis's vulnerability grows, with his nightclub, the Savoy, becoming a hub for clandestine dealings that draw Jordan closer. Their charged interactions, like a tense dance-off during a charity event or a heartfelt confession under the stars, highlight the depth of their connection. But acting on it could shatter Portia's world and alienate Trina, who's already dealing with the fallout from her biological father's schemes. Exploring the broader implications, Jordan's emotional turmoil might inadvertently sabotage her high-stakes agenda. Sidwell, a cunning antagonist with ties to global syndicates, has been evading capture by embedding spies in Port Charles institutions, including the hospital where Isaiah works. Jordan's distraction could lead to critical oversights, such as missing a key lead on Sidwell's next shipment of illicit weapons disguised as medical supplies. If her jealousy flares publicly, it might tip off Sidwell's operatives, endangering everyone involved. On the flip side, this inner conflict could propel Jordan toward clarity, perhaps a pivotal confrontation where she admits her feelings to Curtis, accelerating the collapse of his marriage and prompting Portia to seek solace in unexpected alliances, like rekindling old flames or turning to therapy with Dr. Kevin Collins. For Isaiah, the situation is equally precarious. Drawn into Anna's world, he might discover a passion for investigative work that rivals his medical career. But Jordan's silence could leave him heartbroken, pushing him toward a full commitment with Anna. Viewers speculate on invented plot twists, such as Isaiah uncovering a personal connection to Dalton's project, maybe a long-lost relative involved in its development, adding layers of intrigue. Ultimately, the question lingers, will Jordan voice her concerns as Isaiah grows closer to Anna, or will her wavering between Curtis and Isaiah trap her in a cycle of unspoken regrets? This dilemma promises explosive drama, with potential for heated confrontations at the police station or heartfelt revelations during a crisis involving Sidwell's forces. If Jordan chooses Curtis, it could mend their broken family, but devastate Portia and Trina, perhaps leading Trina to rebel by delving deeper into her art world connections or seeking guidance from mentors like Ava Jerome. Conversely, reclaiming Isaiah might require Jordan to sabotage Anna's investigation subtly, straining their bond irreparably. Next, we will explore the electrifying buzz surrounding Dr. Liesl Obrecht's much-anticipated return to Port Charles. Sparked by young Rocco Falcone's bold quest for truths about his complicated origins and the enigmatic Britt Westburn's place in his early life. In the heart of Port Charles, where family secrets simmer like a pot ready to boil over, Rocco Falcone has taken a daring step by reaching out to Dr. Liesl Obrecht via email, igniting a chain of events that could redefine his sense of self. This move comes hot on the heels of Rocco's world-shattering discovery that Britt Westburn, Liesl's late daughter, secretly carried him after pilfering an embryo belonging to his biological parents, Lulu Spencer and Dante Falconeri. The revelation exploded into the open thanks to Brooklyn Quartermain's vengeful scheme aimed at dismantling Lulu's life. A plot that involved leaked documents and anonymous tips circulating through the Quartermain mansion's gossip mill. Now, with Liesl's comeback officially on the horizon after her prolonged absence, fans are abuzz about how this reunion might peel back layers of deception. Adding to the intrigue, whispers of Britt's possible reappearance a bit as a miraculously alive figure, an identical twin hidden in the shadows, through poignant flashback sequences, or even as a spectral vision haunting the halls of General Hospital promise to amplify the drama. Rocco's innocent inquiry could unearth long-buried emotions, forcing Dante and Lulu to confront the fragility of their family bonds. While Liesl grapples with memories of her beloved Britta, imagine the tension as Rocco, now a teenager navigating the choppy waters of adolescence, demands answers about the 7 months he spent under the alias Ben Westburn, a period marked by Britt's desperate attempts to build a makeshift family amid her own loneliness and legal troubles. Delving into Rocco's motivations, his outreach to Liesl stems from a deep well of confusion and betrayal, fueled by the Falconeri clan's history of withheld truths. Hurt by Lulu and Dante's decision to shield him from the embryo theft saga, perhaps out of a misguided protective instinct that backfired, spectacular Lyco feels adrift, questioning not just his identity but the very foundation of trust within his home. Brooklyn's reckless expose, which included doctored audio recordings and planted evidence to sabotage Lulu's reputation in a custody-related feud, only deepened his wounds, leaving him with no choice but to seek clarity from an unlikely source. Liesl, upon receiving the message, is poised to react with a mix of astonishment and maternal warmth, her response potentially laced with tales of Britt's vulnerabilities, including her struggles with a rare genetic disorder that influenced her impulsive choices. This interaction could serve as a cathartic bridge for Rocco, offering glimpses into Britt's psyche, her yearning for unconditional love after a string of failed romances, including her tumultuous affair with Jason Morgan. Yet, there's a risk it exacerbates his rift with his parents, Dante, already stretched thin managing his detective duties, and the emotional fallout from Joe Palmieri's surprise adoption reveal involving hidden paternity tests, might find it hard to mediate. Lulu, racked with guilt amplified by conversations with her mother Laura Collins about past mistakes like the Casadini family curses, could spiral into self-doubt, fearing Rocco's growing detachment, inventing a fresh twist. Suppose Liesl arrives bearing a hidden artifact from Britt's pasta journal detailing the embryo heist as an act of misguided redemption tied to her work with Professor Henry Hank Dalton's experimental fertility tech, blending science fiction elements into the soap's narrative and linking back to Dalton's ongoing storyline of ethical dilemmas in medical innovation. As Liesl steps back into the spotlight after her 18-month hiatus, during which she wandered through European clinics pursuing fringe medical research, her presence threatens to destabilize the already precarious Falconeri household. Dante's strained relationship with Lulu, compounded by lingering resentments over her coma-induced absence and recent decisions affecting their son, might crack under the pressure of Rocco's probing. Picture Dante confiding in his partner Sam McCall about his fears, only for Sam to uncover parallels to her own family's deceptions involving the Durkheim twin saga. Lulu, meanwhile, could turn to therapy sessions with Dr. Kevin Collins to unpack her intensified guilt, revealing suppressed memories of the embryo's creation during a high-stakes fertility clinic scandal. If Liesl divulges Britt's full story, perhaps softened by anecdotes of her daughter's heroic acts, like saving lives during a hospital quarantine, it might ease Rocco's pain, painting Britt not as a villain but as a flawed woman desperate for connection. However, this could stoke Lulu's anxieties about losing Rocco's affection, especially if he begins idolizing Britt's memory. The specter of Britt's return adds explosive potential. Envision her emerging alive, having faked her death to escape Cyrus Renault's threats, or as a twin sister with her own agenda involving stolen Quartermain assets. Flashbacks could revisit Britt's tender moments with baby Ben, humanizing her, while an apparition might appear to Liesl in dreams, guiding her responses to Rocco and tying into supernatural elements like the show's history with ghostly visitations. Fan communities are ablaze with speculation, from bustling online forums to lively Facebook groups, where enthusiasts dissect the myriad paths this storyline could take. Liesl's departure from Port Charles wasn't amicable, marked by bitter feuds with characters like Nina Reeves over shared grief and inheritance disputes. But Rocco's email injects a spark of genuine joy, rekindling her sense of purpose as a surrogate grandmother figure. This outreach might evoke poignant memories of cradling Britt's body after her tragic demise from the Hook Killer's attack, a loss that left Liesl unmoored and seeking solace in obscure travels. The thrill of a double trouble return escalates if Britt resurfaces alive, perhaps having undergone experimental treatments in a secret lab run by Dalton, whose tech projects now include regenerative medicine that could explain her survival. Fans theorize endless scenarios, Britt allying with Liesl to mentor Rocco, or clashing with Lulu in a custody twist that drags in legal eagles like Diane Miller. Another invented element could involve Britt's return intersecting with Rocco's budding interest in medicine, inspired by Dalton's lectures at Port Charles University, where Rocco sneaks into classes to learn about genetic ethics, mirroring his own origins. This could drastically alter dynamics, with Liesl potentially harboring knowledge of Britt's fake death to protect her from lingering enemies like Victor Cassadin's remnants. In the grand tapestry of General Hospital's endless sagas, Liesl Obrecht's impending arrival and Rocco's relentless pursuit of answers about Britt stand to either fortify or fracture the Falconeri family unity. Will this journey provide Rocco with the closure he craves, allowing him to reconcile with Dante and Lulu through family counseling retreats at the Collins estate? Or will it unleash a wave of painful revelations that leaves him feeling more isolated than ever? The possibilities ripple outward, potentially drawing an extended kin like Charlotte Cassadini, whose own identity struggles could parallel Rocco's, or even Trina Robinson, offering peer support amid her art therapy sessions. As the writers weave these threads, one invented plot twist might see Liesl and Britt teaming up against a new threat, like a corporate espionage ring targeting Dalton's inventions, blending high-stakes action with emotional depth. Ultimately, this arc promises to reshape relationships in profound ways, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats. What do you think? Will Liesl's insights heal the wounds, or widen the chasms? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and stay tuned for more twists from Port Charles.